Your teenage child has been diagnosed with chronic pain such as migraines or functional neurological disorder, short for FND. And did you know that you as a parent need to engage in self-care in order to help your child? Hi, my name is Dr. Lee. I'm a pediatric psychologist and chronic pain survivor myself. My mission is to help teens and their parents like you to resolve persistent physical symptoms such as chronic pain and FND so that they can get their life back and feel like normal again. Because I truly believe every teen who suffers from chronic pain or FND deserves so much more in their lives. If you are new to this channel, welcome, and make sure to click the link below to download a free PDF parent guide on how to help your teenage child at home. It is completely free and the link is down below. Now, today's video is all about parent self-care in order to help your child resolve chronic pain or FND. And first of all, really quick and super brief, what is FND? FND is an umbrella term to describe this cross-wired problems between the brain and the body when physically you look quote-unquote fine. Believe it or not, it is the second most common diagnosis you would get in a neurology clinic right next to migraines, but nobody talks about it and nobody knows about it. And there are so many different types within the FND, namely functional seizures, paralysis, movement disorder, fainting, chronic pain, and vision loss. Those are just an examples of different subtypes of FND. And if you have guessed it, FND or chronic pain, for that matter, is not just one thing that is causing these conditions. It is biological, psychological, and social phenomenon called biopsychosocial phenomenon. And I have tons of videos talking about what FND is, what is the biopsychosocial phenomenon, and what are the influencing factors for chronic pain or FND. So check those videos as well. All right, so why self-care for parents when we're talking about your teenage child who is struggling from chronic pain or FND? Well, your self-care as a parent is important for two reasons, among so many other things. Number one, absolutely, this is basic and fundamental, but I'm going to say it again. You cannot run empty if you're trying to help other people, including your child. It's the thing that you hear all the time when you're flying, that you've got to put your oxygen mask first before you help your child or other people, right? Because if you are running empty and if you're so depleted, you don't have capacity, both physical and mental and emotional, to help other people in a way that is effective. And number two, you engage in self-care for yourself is actually a model for your child, because whether you like it or not, your child is a top-level observer. They are watching you and they are listening to you. Therefore, when you engage in self-care activities like you're treating yourself like a VIP, then your child is going to learn how to love and care for themselves as well. So for those two reasons, A, you cannot run empty, and B, you are being a model. You engaging in self-care is very crucial and essential. So let's talk about self-care principles, all right? And I'm going to talk about my own self-care ideas, okay? Number one, anything that you choose to do self-care wise, as long as they're safe and healthy, then I'm okay with it. And I'm talking about in relative term, right? Nothing can be completely safe, even drinking water. If you drink too much water, it may not be safe, right? And anything in moderation can be in this healthy category, right? And so I'm not really talking about absolute. But that being said, generally speaking, safe and healthy, then you're good to go. All right. And number two, whatever you do, I would like it to be mindful. So I'm not talking about this mindless scrolling down on social media, mindless just watching TV and then being checked out while you're constantly thinking about something that you're worried about like a mile a minute, then that's not really a self-care, right? So anything that you do, I would like it to be mindful. And now, how long do you have to do the self-care for? Well, ideally, if you can do it for as long as you can, that's great. But let's just be practical here. If you can do a self-care activity for 10 minutes a day, that is a good place to start. Why? Because 10 minutes a day is less than 1% of the day, believe it or not. So the flip side is, if you, as it is, are having a hard time carving out 10 minutes, aka less than 1% of your day just for yourself in the name of self-care, then we kind of have a problem here, right? So you have to fight for it. Now, some days you might be super busy and there's a lot going on, so it's really impossible for you to take the 10 minutes out of your day. That's okay. It's not about absolute, right? It's not about perfection either. However, you have to fight for it. Why? Because you are important. Treat yourself as a VIP. You are important. And remember why self-care is important. You're also modeling, right? That VIP treatment in front of your child. And when it comes to self-care, it doesn't have to be a thing. It doesn't have to be involving purchasing thing, right? And it could be just an experience that you can do. So I like to think of it from like 5 senses perspective. What that would be. Number one, anything that you can see or watch. It could be just like sitting down on your deck, watching a sunrise or sunset, whatever it is. It doesn't have to be a thing, right? And could it be something that you can hear or listen to? And could it be something you can taste, smell, or touch? So when I say touch, it could be temperature, warm, cool, or it could be texture, and it could be the pressure. So it could be like the weight that you can feel. So think of these 5 senses when you think about self-care, if you sort of like running out of the ideas. So I'm going to talk about my own self-care ideas, and there are about 7 of them. Now, just because I do these things doesn't necessarily mean those are absolute right and you have to do them all. That's not it. I'm just giving you some concrete practical ideas, but you don't have to exactly follow what I do. But here are my go-to 7 self-care ideas. Number 1, whenever I have time, I would say probably 5 to 6 days out of the week, I do journal. I have been journaling ever since I was a young child, and okay, there are some moments that I didn't do for years, fine, it kind of goes through phases, but generally speaking, I take 4 minutes out of my day just doing brain dump. And it could be something that I am thinking in the moment. It could be something that I have been struggling with or worried about or stressed out about, or it could be something that I'm looking forward to. Whatever it is, I just write it down, whatever it's in my mind. So the idea about brain dump for this limited time is that whatever is in my mind, I'm just dumping it so that I don't keep cooking inside of my head. The second self-care I do whenever I have time is slow belly breathing for about 5 minutes or so. I love doing this. This is absolutely my go-to. I am breathing anyway, as long as I'm alive, so might as well use that time to slow down the breathing. So that's pretty much what I'm doing. And there is an app that I use. It's called the Breathing app. It is completely free and it doesn't take much of the space on your phone. And the thing I love about this breathing app is it does not have any advertisement. It only does one thing, that is just guiding a breathing pace. So that's really it. And if you have an Apple product like an Apple Watch or iPhone, you can also use Breathe app that is embedded in the Apple Watch, and you can also use that to just pace yourself. And how slow am I breathing? Generally speaking, I breathe at 6 breaths per minute. So 4 seconds inhalation and 6 seconds exhalation. That's what I do for 5 minutes. And number 3, speaking of smelling, I love essential oils. And I don't know if you can see behind me that I have some essential oils. They're not necessarily the cheapest on the planet, but I tend to use high quality essential oil that is actually safe on my own skin. So I use essential oil as part of my routine that I use pretty much every day whenever I am in my office. The next thing is I love being outside, weather permitted. Well, actually, rain or shine or snow. I live in the mountain area where it snows during winter time or cold season, and I actually walk every single day for at least 45 minutes. Rain, shine, windy, snow, I don't care. I have a gear that I wear and I walk either alone or with my husband. this has been very therapeutic for me. It's really, really nice to be just outside. And so that is what I do every single day. And then I don't do this every single day. I wish I could, but every once in a while I get relaxing massage session. And that has been so, so heavenly for me. And it's such a treat for me, but I treat myself as a VIP from time to time. And the next thing I do is, again, I don't do this every day per se, but something that I can look at every day is I get my nails done whenever I want to. And it's actually not necessarily relaxing per se, but it's very uplifting for me. And lastly, but not the very least, I love a good quality coffee and tea. Now I have certain go-to coffee that I love drinking and then certain go-to tea that I love drinking, but it is very relaxing for me, even though chemically speaking, it can be uplifting. For me, it's just having a cup of coffee in the morning. It's really a nice way to set the tone for the day and then just get it ready for the day. So I love the time to just sit down and drink coffee and then drink a sip of tea throughout the day. So those are my 7 self-care tips and ideas. And again, it's not for everybody, I know, and it doesn't have to be for everybody, but everyone can have some sort of self-care activities that they can engage in, even for just a few minutes out of the day. So I'm very curious, what is your self-care idea? I would love to know and see if I can incorporate it into my own daily activity as well. So in conclusion, both chronic pain and FND are legit conditions and your child is not faking. It can be very terrifying and debilitating, but with the right approach, both chronic pain and FND are completely manageable, treatable, if not solvable. Now, if you and your bright teenage child are ready to take step-by-step actionable solutions to resolve chronic pain or FND, then you might be a good fit for my program. Click the link below today and schedule a call to talk to me directly and see if you qualify for the program. Now, thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next video.